Hello beautiful people, we at Knots and Collar welcome you to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. If you've already joined us or planning to join us, remember our key motto, which is safety and progression. These two pillars will form a very strong foundation, will decide how long we're going to train and how enjoyable the journey be. The reason why we chose these two things as our key motto is, if you're not safe, most likely you're going to quit. Your injuries will force you to quit. And also, if you're not progressing steadily, frustration will set in and you will quit. So that's why we're going to focus on these two things, safety and progression, throughout our Jiu-Jitsu journey. And that's why we have designed this curriculum, especially to help newcomers who's going to be trying the Jiu-Jitsu for the first time or maybe are in the initial phase, so that they can safely progress and feel confident and safe while being on the mats. To begin with, we have categorized the curriculum into few categories, namely hygiene and etiquettes, your warm-ups and your conditioning drills, and some essential movements just to make sure we are safe and we know the don'ts of Jiu-Jitsu. Most of the people, they know the do's of Jiu-Jitsu, but not the don'ts. So this is why the curriculum, so we understand or learn the don'ts of Jiu-Jitsu to help us be safe and progress at the same time. First and foremost, let's talk about hygiene, which is the foundation for a safe space and a respectful training environment in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Remember, it's more about protecting yourself and others against unnecessary risk. To begin with, we're going to talk about a few hygiene tips, which we are very well aware of, but just to quickly go through them, we begin with have your nails trimmed. You don't want to have big nails, otherwise that might lead to some scratches or some accidents while training. If you're sick, it's better to stay home. Remember, we've been through the COVID time. We already are aware that if you feel you're a bit under the weather, it's better if you stay home. Don't get everyone else sick. Take a shower before class. Or along with it, I wouldn't say or, it's more of addition of adding a deodorant just before training. You don't want to give a tough time to your partner. They're already having tough time on the mats. Don't add more difficulty in their training. And to finish with, flush the toilet after use. I know it's very common, but do it. It's very important. Lastly, wear a clean white uniform. And just to quickly help you guys go through our uniform protocol, whether you're coming for a gi session or a no gi session. For the gi session, we only promote white uniforms. We are very strict about it. And you have to wear rash guard and spats underneath. Rash guards is your compression clothing. And just to be clear, we are wearing a full sleeve rash guard. And the same thing is with the spats. It's another layer under your pants. So three things: clean uniform, but white, rash guard, and then your spats underneath to avoid any kind of a direct skin contact. Now, going over to your no-gi sessions, we promote only black color apparel for the no-gi. You don't have your white uniform, but you are supposed to wear rash guard, full black. At best, it can have 10% of different colors, but mostly it has to be black. The spats, again, black color, full ankle length. And lastly, it has to be with shorts. Remember, shorts can't have chain or zipper or pockets with them. So few things which are very strict about. This helps us promote discipline and keeps everyone at the same level, helps us treat everyone well. And of course, you guys look good. Next, we move on to mats and footwear etiquettes. To begin with, it's a rule, and it's a universal rule. Please do not wear shoes on the mats. It's not just that if you're training here or if you're training anywhere else, remember, do not wear shoes on the mats. You'll be declared a universal enemy. So make sure you don't wear shoes on the mats. Second thing is, it's advisable if you carry your studio slippers. You can have your slippers packed in your bag, which are used only for the studio, so that whenever you step off the mats, you have your slippers on. Remember, if you are walking off the mats barefoot, you're going to carry germs back on the mat. And then you know the feet in Jiu-Jitsu, they are used as a guard, and it goes to the face and where else. You're just helping bacteria and the germs find their way easy. Make it tough for them. Carry your studio slippers. Okay, now we discussed this in the previous one. It's the basic washroom etiquettes. Flush the toilet after using. It's a must. There is no negotiation in it. Okay, next we move on to punctuality and discipline. As you know, it's always advisable to be here for the session before time. 10 or 15 minutes earlier prior to the session is always advisable, so that you can have that mindset wherein you're about to start training and not just immediately getting onto the mats. So let your body and mind get used to, or be in that zone wherein they know you are about to start training. Second thing is, do not skip warm-ups. And for those who are already a student over here, you guys know who all I'm mentioning here, or who all we are talking about. Do not skip warm-ups. You skip warm-ups, it might lead to some injuries. Techniques are great, movement is great, sparring is great, rolling is great, but you're just moving closer and closer to injuries. Lastly, the most important one is learn to tie your own belt. Not just that it saves time for the class, but also it promotes discipline and self-reliance. In the beginning phase, your coaches or senior students will help you to tie the belt. In fact, we're going to go through a quick tutorial on how to tie the belt. But again, it's very important that you should know how to tie your belt. It's just a practice of mere 5 minutes. And then 5 minutes in your entire lifetime, and you'll always remember how to tie the belt. So let's quickly go through on how to tie the belt. All right, guys, let's start with how to tie your belt. So your belt, whichever color it be, white, blue, brown, as you're progressing in your Jiu-Jitsu journey, divided into 2 parts. So the center part you hold on to, and then make sure that belt, the bar side is onto your right. You'll notice that your belts would have a black bar, and the other side would be either plain, or maybe your school's name or the company's name, the logo embroidery be there. Mine is plain over here. But you'll have a bar side and a plain side. Keep the bar side onto the right. We'll define it why as we progress. So divide the belt into half. Left, so the left lapel over the right lapel. Remember this. Left over the right. The center of the belt goes to the navel, below the navel, above the navel, as you feel comfortable. Start wrapping the belt around your waist and exchange the grip. I'll show it on the other side. So we're going to turn around. I'll showing the exchange of the grip. Right goes to the left goes to the right. We are just interchanging this grip. From here, again, remember left over right. Left belt, or the left side of the belt, goes over the right. It goes under both. So your belt goes under both. Pull the knot. That is your first knot. For the second one, you go right over the left. So your right side goes over the left. Let it wrap under, pull. A very simple way of tying the belt. Okay. Once you're comfortable with this one, you can progress to a different knot. We call it super knot, or you can name it as you want. This one's one of my favorite, or one that I use mostly. Again, divide the belt into half. Right side, the bar side, left side, the plain side, or your school logo side, whichever or however it denotes. Remember, left over right. Left lapel goes over the right. Center, navel, up, down, up to you. Wrap, you interchange. From here, again, left over the right. So the left side goes over the right side. Pass it through. This is the same as the previous method. We are here. Now the new left, we just changed. So the new left goes under both, and you keep the loop on. So you don't pull it 100%. You rather keep a loop. The new right goes under the loop, and then under the first side of the belt. In. And all you're going to do is you're going to start gently pulling the belt to the sides, and you'll have a very nice knot, a very tight knot. Again, looks better than the previous one, but works very well. So quickly, both the methods. I'll show it from the side this time. Left over the right remains the same. For the lapel and for the belt's first knot, pop, one, in, interchange, left over the right, in. Now right over the left for the first simple tie. Pop, in. Now the next one, again, everything remains the same. Divide the belt into half. Remember, the bar side is on the right. Left over the right. Navel up, down, your preference. Interchange. First is still the same. You pass left over the right. Now the new left goes under both. Keep the loop on, make sure there is space, pass it under, pass it through, and under the first loop. Pull, and you have a better loop. choose which one works well for you, and learn how to tie the belt by yourself. Guys, let's work on the second chapter, which is your warm-up and conditioning. We start with general warm-up and then move to the specific warm-up. For a specific warm-up, we'll take it to the next chapter, but let's begin with the general warm-up. The idea is to start warming up your head and move it toward the toes. Follow along. Even if you can't, we will still be working the same during the classes. This is just an introduction on how it looks like. So we're going to start with the neck rotation a few times, and then sideways, semicircle up, semicircles down. We move to the shoulders, shoulder rotations, clockwise, anti-clockwise. Can move with the arms, clock, anti-clock. You bend your elbow, work with your forearm. Same thing, work your rotator cuffs. Work your wrist, clockwise, anti-clockwise, multiple times. Your wrist, down, down, up. Same on the other side. We're quickly going through because, again, this will be done in every class, so this will become your bread and butter. But just to give an idea on what you can expect before the class. You can hug yourself, you can grab your own uniform. We turn side to side. This one's for the back. Few times, you work your hip rotations, anti-clock, clockwise. You work your knees. Some good, taking the knees beyond the toes level, let the blood flow. You can even circle clockwise, anti-clockwise. Then work your ankles, side, side, back, as if you're pressing your fingers to the ground. Fingers inwards, inwards. Pull your toes towards yourself and on both the sides. We went through very quickly. This does not happen this quickly during a live session. Again, just a quick glimpse of what it could look like. Then we start with running. We're going to run in circles. When you'll join, you'll see the entire mat area, and you'll be running, or you will be following someone. So we start with normal running. Then we switch to high knees. We go for heels to the hips running. We go for sideways running, facing inside, facing outside. Multiple types of running. Then there are some animal movements. Can go from frog, bear crawl, duck walk, spider, cricket. Let's quickly look at it a couple of times. Again, we will be teaching this in the class, and this will be a bread and butter. Okay, starting with your frog jumps. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I'm going to keep going back and forth. Again, we'll be doing in big circles. Just for this curriculum, we are going back and forth to get a good glimpse. You go bear crawls, side to side hop. You're going to hop and walk on your palm. That is your bear crawl. You can go for your duck walk or chicken, as you call it. Be on the ball of the feet, keep walking. Hands can be in, up. If there is any kind of an issue or any injury, you can also use your hands on the ground, or even mobility issues. We go for cricket. Crickets are your push-up hop. You're going to do a push-up. You're going to stay in a push-up position, and we're going to hop forward. Same way, there is a Spider-Man walk or an alligator walk. Name can vary from places to places. Pup, pup, pup. Even if you don't know, again, we will be working the same during our sessions. As I mentioned, this will become your bread and butter. Now, this was our general warm-up. Let's move to the specific warm-up, or even the other section, which is essential movements. So guys, that was our warm-up, and you'll notice that it was a little fast-paced, but it was intentional because just to give you an idea on what happens or what you could expect in a warm-up, what kind of a movements it'd be. But the rest of the skill we will be learning during this session. About the conditioning part, it's better that you do some kind of a conditioning at home as well. Could be your regular push-ups, your squats, you holding a plank. It could be your body weight exercise, or some people might be going for a gym or some other activity that keeps you fit other than this, just to help you improve faster. Again, it's just an optional work. And the reason why I would say it's an optional work is you might be coming here for twice or thrice in a week. It's all dependent on your daily life schedule. So if your schedule allows you to be here on the mats every day, that's the best thing. But if it does not allow you or does not give you that kind of a liberty, 2 or 3 days might be good enough. But the remaining 2 or 3 days of the week, 3 days or 4 days of the week, it's better if you take the responsibility on your own self. You be accountable for your own fitness. So conditioning could be your regular exercising, or you can also get into a habit of doing the next thing that we're going to work, which is your essential movement. These are the movements or the fundamental or the building blocks which will help you improve better in Jiu-Jitsu. All of this can be done solo, or you don't need any such reference point. In fact, you don't even need a mirror for this. For example, in a gym, if you go, you have mirrors over there just so you can see how well you're lifting, are the muscles properly flexing or not. But in Jiu-Jitsu, you don't need such mirrors. So the same thing is with these solo movements. Let's work these solo movements. Of course, they can become your conditioning routine. It all depends on how well you make a plan out of it. But even if you can't, ask your coaches, they will help something out of it. Okay, let's move on to the next chapter, which is our foundational movement or essential movements that we need for Jiu-Jitsu. So let's start with the very first, which is break fall. As the name suggests, break fall. We're going to break our fall. There might be scenarios wherein somebody's taking you down, or maybe we slipped, we lost our balance, or it could be a daily life thing wherein maybe the floor is wet, you don't know the floor is wet, and somehow you slipped. So you should know how to break a fall. The reason why you need to break a fall is, for example, if I lose my balance or somehow I slipped, accidentally I might hit my head to the ground. Now, when you hit your head to the ground, you know it could be a direct knockout, could be a life-threatening work. So make sure when you're breaking your fall, this is not happening, that your head hit the ground. Head touching to the ground is one thing. The second thing is you happen to post your palm on the ground. Again, this is a big no-no. Please don't even try this. This is me messing up my own shoulder because of the impact. You could already see the vibrations, like all the bounce of my shoulder. So this is very bad for the shoulder. And even if it's not the shoulder, it could be the elbow, right? So we want to prevent all these things from happening. We want to make sure our joints are safe. We want to make sure head is safe, no immediate knockout. Any which ways you got caught into an accident, so there will be some kind of a damage. But let's break our fall to reduce that damage. That is the key thing. You will take some damage, but we got to minimize it. So 2 things, whatever we're going to do, we're going to make sure 2 things are always taken care. One is that my head does not touch the ground. Second thing is I don't touch my palm or my forearm on the ground. Okay, so shoulders should be safe, joints should be safe, and primarily the head should be safe. Now, we'll not start with the crazy push right away. Again, just as we discussed in the conditioning part, that these can all be practiced solo. You don't need somebody to push you. You can always imagine there is an imaginary push coming to you. But to begin with, this is how we're going to work. You're going to pretend as if you are sitting on a chair for the imaginary push. As if you're sitting on a chair, an imaginary chair, okay? While you're sitting on a chair, your chin goes to your collarbone. So you're going to tuck your chin to the collarbone. We sit, we keep the chin to the collarbone. Now, first way to progress, we're slowly going to give some kind of a work to our arms. But for now, we're going to hug ourselves. You could hug yourself. If you're wearing a uniform, grab your uniform, cross-side. Just to prevent our arms touching the ground irrelevantly for now. That's why grab your own collar, tuck your chin in, and imagine you're sitting on a chair. Now have some leap of faith here, fall. If you could see my head didn't touch, that is all because my collar and my chin were connected. If only my chin was up, that impact would have happened. So keep your chin tucked in. This keeps your head safe. If it's a fight, it gives you another life to continue or resume fighting. Even if it's real life, wet floor, somebody pushed you, we still can get up. So we are minimizing the damage. About the arms. This is what we're going to do with the arms. Once you get comfortable with this, again, let's do it few more times and then we add the arm. Grab yourself, grab your own collar, hug yourself. Imagine you're sitting on a chair, tuck your chin to the collarbone. Let yourself fall back. Where should your feet be? We're going to discuss. For now, we can mimic the same thing. I can keep my feet forward. When we'll cover more lessons, you will understand why I'm keeping it this way. But of course, they can be here as well. This is better than this, but both are acceptable. So moving to the arm part, what should our arms be doing? The moment that you're going to fall down onto your back, I'm going to slap the ground. In fact, not intentionally slap, but I'll let my hands drop dead on the ground. As if it's a trampoline and you throw something, you're going to see a little bounce, a very minor bounce because, again, imagine it's a trampoline, but do not do this. Do not intentionally slap the mat. We're just dropping dead. And this is going to happen with both the sides. So we start with the hug, tuck your chin in, we sit on a chair, let yourself fall, that leap of faith, and your arms, I'm going to drop in the line of my pocket. Okay, drop, not slap. As a habit, I'm keeping my feet forward. We're going to see, we'll slowly make more sense out of this as we progress. So, head safe by keeping the chin in. Shoulders safe by hugging yourself, and while you're accepting the fall, please do not pose. But once you have accepted the fall, this is when we're gonna let our arms drop on the ground. Okay? And if all of this works well, you can focus on the third step, which is keeping your feet forward, pointed forward. If not, then feet on the ground is also okay. Okay, this is how it's gonna look like. Hug yourself, tuck your chin in, leap of faith, arms drop. This is your breakfall. Okay, so our next movement would be forward rolls. We're going to start from the ground and slowly we'll progress into standing forward rolls, and then you can go to any fancier version as you feel like. But this is how we're going to work. So we're going to start with both the knees on the ground. I'm going to start in a seated way. This is where we are. Okay. Next thing is you choose one side. Could be your right side, could be your left side. I'm choosing my right for now. I'm going to step forward with my right while I'm sitting on the other foot. So this is how we are like. Once you reach to this posture, same side arm. So if you're stepping forward with your right foot, you use your right arm, same side arm, to grab your toes, but from the inside. So you could see my arm is on the inside, my arm is not from the outside. I want to grab my toes from the inside, having my arm inside of the thigh. Next thing, I'm going to lean forward. Leaning forward with the intent of touching my elbow and my knee to the ground. While I'm doing that, the free arm, we're going to post on the ground. This is my help. Even if I'm overweight, I don't want to fall face forward. I can always slow this motion and keep my balance intact throughout. So use your left arm on the ground. There can be a bend in the arm. Next step, we touch the elbow and the knee on the ground. I follow it with my shoulder. So we are here, right side, step forward, grab, inwards, left arm on the ground. It is allowed to bend, or I can lean or place more weight onto it. I go forward with the intent of touching my knee, elbow, and then my shoulder on the ground. While I'm doing this, while we hold this posture, I'm going to keep my side towards my free foot, my back foot. So we are here, right is forward, everything inside, left you hold on to, down, down, down. I'm going to look towards my left foot or my free foot. And if you notice, I have already removed my knee from the ground. So I'll just remove this arm to show you from down to be on the ball of the feet. We are here, down. You keep looking towards your toes and make a bigger kick from your free foot. Don't bend your heel towards your butt cheek, rather keep your foot stretched out. Allow yourself to fall and even can use the momentum to get up. From this side, I'm here, my right is already forward. I'm holding my toes from the inside, left on the ground, knee, elbow, shoulder, other foot, knee off the ground. I'll keep looking towards the other foot and we kick big. Allow yourself for this kick. You can use the momentum to get up. A few times from this, then we're going to progress up, then we're going to progress completely standing. We start from here, seated, forward, grab, elbow, knee, shoulder, free arm support, pop, forward, pop, forward, pop, forward. Once you're comfortable with this, it might take some time, could be a week, or for some people it might be a day as well. See where your progression lies. It all depends on how much time you're putting into this. You can make a little change once you get comfortable with this. Rather than starting it right from here, I start from grabbing my toes and I remove my knee from the ground already. This is my next progression. All you have to do is touch, touch, down. Once you get comfortable, keep your foot directly stretched out. Then do the roll. Once you progress into it, again, this might be a week's project, a month's project. Take your time. Once you get comfortable with all of this, we start standing. Standing is also the same. I'm going to go forward. So it's just like I want to step forward from my right and I want to grab my toes. Grabbing the toes, it's the initial work allotted to you just so that you know what to do with your right side. Afterwards, you can completely be done with that grabbing the toes once you get comfortable. So right foot forward and my right arm goes towards the toes. This, at the same time, left is the support. Allow your shoulder to go down, kick, and we get up. This is how it can look like. Right, left, forward. All throughout, I'm looking towards the free foot. We don't want to fall face first. What I mean by that is, pop, arm post, and I keep looking to the ground. That will only lead to accident. So you keep spotting your back foot a few times. And then, of course, the more time you spend, better it would be. Right, right, left, look down, allow that kick. Right, right, left, look down, allow that kick. And that is your forward roll. Okay, so the next movement be sprawls. Again, before we progress further, before we get into the technical part, I just want to remind you the logic is still missing. Breakfall we did discuss, but the actual mat logic is still missing. Your forward rolls, the actual logic is still missing. We might even be breaking our fall while we are rolling forward, which again we'll do. Let's move on to the next thing, which is our sprawl. Let's get into the technical part first, the steps or the execution of the technique first. And then once you are on the mats doing the live session, the logic would be very much clear. The idea is to just get everyone introduced to the warm-ups or what it might sound like or look like when you're live present on the class. This might be your first day, 10th day, this is how it could look like. Let's start with the sprawl. So sprawl means creating a wall forward. So if a bull is charging at you, we create a wall at front, a shield at front, so that the bull can't gain even an inch on you. Okay. Again, the mat logic is still missing, but we're gonna work as we progress. Right now, the execution of the technique. We're gonna work a very simple sprawl. It's a wall forward, remember this, but the wall needs to be created with your belt or your hip area. Okay. One important thing when we say hip in Jiu-Jitsu, we mean the hip bones, not the butt cheek. Okay, so I want to create a wall with the hip forward, so that acts as a shield, just guarding myself or my ground against that bull or somebody charging into me. Why would they charge? Still is missing. Okay, this is how it's going to look like. I'm going to post my hands on the ground. While I'm posting my hands to the ground, I'm going to kick my feet back and I throw my belt or my hip on the ground while I'm looking forward with my upper body. I am having this wall forward with my hip bone. You can be on the ball of the feet, you can be completely flat, they both work nice. But the idea here is not just a wall, but you collapse the wall whenever needed. So you create a wall, you collapse the wall whenever needed and get back to your reset position. So, hands on the ground, I create a wall with my belly or with my hip, my belt, kick the feet diagonally out and immediately get back up. This is immediately getting back up just for now. In reality, it's subjective to what your partner or that situation asks you for. Okay. So, one, down, up. That is your sprawl. Okay, let's move on to the next thing, which is our backward roll. So just like a front roll, you might be required to roll backwards. Remember one thing, we're going to roll on the shoulders. Even the forward roll was rolling on the shoulder, not on the neck. Same thing with the backward roll. I don't want to roll on my neck. Your neck shouldn't be at risk at all times. You're going to be rolling onto the shoulder. Okay, this is how it could look. We're going to start from the seated posture just like we did for the forward rolls, and slowly we're going to do it from the standing position. Okay, I'm going to take the ground position to begin with. I'm just being a little sideways so we can see what's happening here. You're going to hug yourself, but this time engaging your feet. The idea here is that your head moves to one side, your neck moves to one side, while both of your feet stays on the other side, while I'm accepting that fall. You can choose the side already. It can be pre-decided for now. Head goes to my left shoulder, while both the toes, both the feet, they go towards the right shoulder. Pop. If you could see, my head didn't touch the ground. Again, one more time. Hug yourself, accept the fall, head to one side, toes on the other side. Please do not do this, because now you could see my neck is at risk. And this might be happening with some momentum, can lead to some injuries. Be safe, please. We are here. Hug yourself, accept the fall, head to one side, both the feet on the other side. Arms directly stretched out. I'm doing it without the momentum just so we see what's happening. Up, up, down. With the momentum, up, down. Up, down. Head to one side, toes on the other. And then when you do it from a standing posture, again the logic is still missing why we would need it, but just to relate it with the previous movement, which was our breaking the fall, this is how it's going to be. I'm going to hug myself, I'm going to break the fall, slap the ground, and then finish with a backward roll. We do it from standing, pop, hug. That is your backward roll. So these were your few essential movements wherein there is no bargaining. You need to make sure you have these skills. Again, take your time. We will still be covering these lessons when we are live on the ground, live on the mat. But just to give you an idea, or when you go home, you can still review this. You can do your mental training, if not physical. There are more movements other than this. For example, shrimping. We will relate what does it mean, but just to name it, shrimping, your Granby rolls, hip ins, hip outs, there are many more. There are endless movements. But these are the essential one wherein there is no bargaining. You cannot negotiate with these. Work your skill, do it all solo. You can even make it a conditioning drill. It could be a 20-second sprawl, 30-second non-stop sprawl. And then you can have it combined with your running, jumping on the spot, jumping jacks, to a forward roll. There can be endless combinations just to make it a conditioning drill. And all of this will also help you with your breathing pattern. Remember, we haven't even discussed about the breathing pattern yet. That is a live thing we're going to discuss. You should be here on the mat just to experience what it feels like. And I hope all of this, it's a very quick introduction, but again, the name suggests introduction. This is not the complete theory out of it or the complete jiu-jitsu out of it. It's an introduction. I hope this helps you feel more comfortable, more confident when you are on the mats with others. We welcome you for the jiu-jitsu sessions. I hope your journey will be as enjoyable as it is for us.